Yo, what's up everybody? My name is Scarecrow, and today we're doing a Fire Emblem game tier list. We're going to go ahead and go through all the Fire Emblem games in the series, including the spin-offs, pretty much any of the games that I've played. We're going to be mainly ranking those. If I haven't played it, we'll put it, of course, in the did not play tier. And speaking about the tiers, here they all are. Masterpiece, great, good, mid, dislike. But yeah, let's go ahead and just jump into it. And we're already going to kick off with just BS Fire Emblem and Shadow Dragon, Gaiden, and Mystery. I'm just going to jump to it. I did not play these games, not because I hate them, but I've just heard all four of these games. Well, I've played the remakes of Shadow Dragon, Gaiden, Mystery of the Emblem. I've played those. Haven't played BS Fire Emblem, even though I think a remake of that happened with New Mystery. Maybe one day I'll jump into them. We'll see. Also, sorry but not sorry, Future Scarecrow here. Just letting you guys know, this video was filmed multiple sessions and multiple days, so the audio is going to be varied in terms of quality. Some games will cover, it'll sound pretty clear. Other games, it might sound a little more muffled. You're gonna get a lot of variety in terms of how I sound. But yeah, without further delay, let's go ahead and jump into our first real game. We start with Genealogy, which it's gone in Masterpiece right away. Like, it's not my favorite game in the series. I'll start with that. But this game turned out to be one of my favorite games of all time, man. Like, the story is so ambitious. Like, it already kind of starts at great, and then, like, everything else kind of just makes it a masterpiece. Well, I'm gonna be, completely real with you. Sigurd is my favorite character in the series, and also the plot twist at the end of Gen 1, I mean, I couldn't get out of bed after that whole thing, man. I couldn't sleep on it, anything. I love this game, man. Like, Genealogy, I could just give it all the hugs and kisses in the world. I'm surprised a lot of people, like, don't like this game, and a lot of that's because, like, oh, the maps are so large, and I can't rush this game like I can, I can't speed run this game like I can do, like, 3 Houses, or, Blazing Blade, or any of the other games, right? And it's like, this game wasn't made to be like just a game you kind of beat a chapter in like 10 minutes and then you move on with like the rest of your day. It's not supposed to be like that. You need to take your time with it. I mean, there's a bunch of save systems in this game. I think there's like a way where you can just save on the map too. Each day I played this game, it was like a whole day for like a chapter, if I can remember. Like, the chapters did take long. And also, it doesn't help that calves are broken in this game. Like, cavalry units, like if you weren't a cavalry unit, I can remember so many times when I was playing this game and I'm seeing Sigurd basically just lawnmower like the entire Verdane army, to kick off the game and so forth. Like, he's killing literal civilizations of people, which is why he's a great lord, by the way. He's base. But as soon as he was like, him, Alec, Noish, Midir, and all those guys were just finished killing everybody, then you've got Ira and Jamka and Azel and everyone else. It takes them like 10 years. Like, even Luwin with Forsetti. Oh, don't even start with the holy weapons, dude. Forsetti, if you weren't using Forsetti in this game, that's probably another reason people hate this game. They didn't get Luwin yet. The large maps, I get it. Also, hey, you can make a 1-to-1 full-scale map of Jugdral. Like, each chapter is literally a part of the actual whole map of Jugdral, which, come on, that's rad, dude. But yeah, this game, I hold it near and dear, and I really can't wait for the remake. Hard copium on that one. I'm hoping it gets announced or revealed in the April Switch Direct. I mean, hopefully it's like a game direct as well as like, of course, a Switch 2 Direct. Hope we get an announcement for it. But yeah, this game, great story, great soundtrack. The characters, I mean, Gen 1, the characters are phenomenal. Like, I think Gen 1, that's like the gen where it's all about story and writing. Gen 2 is when it's just you basically killing everybody, just one-tapping everyone with broken weapons and skills and all that. Yeah, I mean, Genealogy, this is not a bad game in the slightest. I highly recommend you play it, whether the remake is coming or not. Like, everyone should be able to play this game. It might take you a while, but just take your time, take your pace with it, and you'll have a hell of a time, man. Like, outside of some of the just broken shit you can do in this game, but highly recommend, man. Now we go to Thracia, I don't know, man. I just call it Thracia. Like, so many people call it like 80 different things. If you caught me when I played this game, like when I was marathoning Fire Emblem game after Fire Emblem game, easily dislike. If not, I would have purposely put it in did not play, because this game, I wanted nothing to do with this game after I finished like going through it. I literally just didn't want to think of this game ever again. But I'm gonna put it in good because it's goofy. Like, this game is just, it's a goofy, shenanigan-filled gong show of a game. I love the narrative. I love the story. Like, the whole story of Thracia is like Leaf's struggle. It's basically him getting a bunch of just random dudes off the street And having to recruit Xavier, which is that's an act of terrorism. Video game terrorism right there. Having to recruit Xavier. Thankfully you don't have to, but like you do it because you're trying to prove to everyone you're no bitch. But yeah, man, this game is just, it's goofy. It puts you in like some crazy situations that I don't think we really see in like future games. And it expects you to just find some like disgusting worm rat way to get out of it. You're abusing like staffs all the time. If you're a fan of the warp staff, like this is your natural habitat. Like you're gonna love the warp staffs in this game. Ballistas also were in this game. They're another part of the nigh impossible situations they throw you in. Fog of war, warp tiles. You need a layer of luck, bro. Like you need to like roll 20. If we're playing like D&D, you need to roll 20 every time. Even the hit rates. The hit rates I think go from like, instead of like 0 to 100, it's 1 to 99, which I would say is personally worse, because even when you get a 99, that 1% shows up, and like it's happened to me a few times in this game. A lot of people say this is like the hardest game. I don't think it's the hardest Fire Emblem game. Blind it is. Like if you're playing this blind, because there's so many guidance chapters and characters and weapons and resources you need, especially like with the fatigue system and just so many just stupid things. There's also a lot of memes in this game. One of them being like when Shanam, this guy who's cosplaying as Prince Shannon, is like just showing up and taking all the glory just to have a harem, basically. Like when he sees Marita, one of the characters you get in your party, and he teaches her Astra, like it's a funny scene. This game's just goofy. Like you see what I mean? It's just so dumb and goofy. Like that's all I can think about when I think about this game. That and like I love Leaf and also Finn. I forgot about Finn, bro. Finn, oh my god, that dude's the real main character of both these games. That's what I think of Thracia. It's a good game, man. The more you play it, you will love this game. If you play this game once blind, you're gonna, like if someone says Thracia to you, you're going to like take that as a threat. You're gonna choose an act of violence that I do not condone. But regardless, this game, like it's a good game. The more you play it, you'll enjoy it, you'll love it. I've seen a lot of people tell me you can abuse so many things like the scrolls, and you can even abuse the warp tiles and the stabs, like chapter 23 when Reinhardt and Sias like basically outnumber you and out leader star you. Like you can literally get a berserk staff and make Reinhardt basically kill the entire army, dude. Play Thracia if you get the chance, especially before it might be in the remake, and they might actually make it a lot easier, which if they make it, Intelligent Systems, Nintendo, if you guys make this easier when this game gets remade, I swear to the Lord, to the dragon god Naga, I won't forgive you. But that's my thoughts on Thracia, man. Up next, we've got Binding Blade, the first of the GBA era. And I'm going to be honest, I'm going to put this in mid-tier, man. Like, Binding Blade's mid to me. A lot of people who talk about this game, I feel like these people have played this game a lot, like Thracia. But Thracia, there's, again, a ton of mechanics and stuff that we haven't seen in other Fire Emblem games that kind of justify you needing to play this game like multiple times to really fall in love with it. As a matter of fact, Binding Blade's a Thracia light, if I had to say anything. It's basically a light version of Thracia that's more colorful and less goofy. You just kind of replay this game if you kind of have the stomach for it. And I mean, like, a big reason I don't like this game is the story. The story's just, it just did not vibe well for me. The only time I really fell in love with this game's story was with the true ending. And you wouldn't even know there's a true ending if you didn't collect any of the ancient legendary weapons like Durandal and stuff like that. When you get to the true ending and you meet John and you're on the way to like defeat Adun, and he tells you the lore of how the dragons are basically using Adun as a printing machine for war dragons, like I thought learning about the lore of that was pretty cool, but that's really it. The story's pretty just boring for me. I didn't like get really invested until those moments, the true ending and some parts with Zephiel. That's it. I do like the soundtrack of this game though. Like the first map, Beneath the Sky, Roy's Departure, I think it's called. That's my ringtone. Like that's one of my favorite songs in the entire series. And there's a lot of nice songs in this game that I like personally. Other than that, the gameplay in this game, as I said before, it's a Thracia light. Like Binding Blade's guidance chapters are just so like they're some of the worst, man. 14X, like just when you get off of the Arcadian desert, that one desert map I like to call it, I just remember that map too for like Cecilia being a cav unit and she's just trapped in the middle of the desert. She's walking like 2 spaces per turn. Like god, that was awful. But 14X is such a terrible chapter. Like I have a lot of trauma pent up from that chapter. But the guiding chapters in this game, including the first one where like there's a dude on a throne, that chapter, like fighting that boss is cruel and unusual punishment. Oh my lord, I think it's chapter 8X. I think that's what it is. I don't have much to say about this game because this game did really nothing to move me. I will say the supports, when you do go through the hundreds of turns to finally reach like a high level of support, the conversations are pretty good. Even though there are so many problems with the support system, as I said before, it takes like over hundreds of turns to get there, and you can only have up to 5 support conversations per character, which is so stupid in my opinion. This game is just, you can tell it was the start of the new beginning, like the new era of Fire Emblem, because this was when Shuzo Kaga, he left, and this game was like the first game without him, so it just felt very disjointed. I do have plans to play this game on hard mode, because I only played this game once, and I'll give it the benefit of the doubt of just, you know, maybe I just had a bad experience with it and I didn't play hard mode. So I'll come back to Binding Blade, but really just a very mid game to me. Alright, next up, Blazing Blade, or Fire Emblem as it's known, because this was the first game that came out for the West, the first Fire Emblem game that came out in the West. I'm going to put this at the top of good tier. Just a very good game. Like, this is the benchmark in my personal opinion, and probably a lot of other Fire Emblem diehards agree with me that this is just a good benchmark for just what a Fire Emblem game should be. The story isn't like great, I would say, but it's a far better story than whatever Binding Blade was trying to convey. I'm sorry to keep hating on Binding Blade, but Blazing Blade's story was, I think, pretty good for what it was. Like, I liked it, I enjoyed it. The characters in this game, some of the most iconic characters in the entire series, as a matter of fact, debuted here. I mean, Hector, Eliwood, Len. Before Awakening and Three Houses, like, this was the game that got everyone into Fire Emblem, the old heads of the Fire Emblem community. And also, like, Len is still to this very day so many people's favorite character. I mean, I love Len too. I mean, Len mode's also just, I love what it is. Like, that tutorial is so good. Sure, it can be repetitive, I won't lie, when you play this game multiple times, but I do it because I just love Len, and I just love the story, and like the character to story integration in this game, something I bragged on Binding Blade a ton for. It comes back in Blazing Blade, like Matthew and Layla's, like the whole thing that happened with them, that was just, man, I was not expecting that when I first played this game. The gameplay is pretty forgiving and balanced, for the most part, I would say. It's very beginner friendly, it's very quick to beat, has a lot of replay value, just a lot of the things that future Fire Emblem games I feel would do a very good job with. Blazing Blade basically just cemented that. Like, it basically gave Fire Emblem a lot of like what its identity should be. And as I also, like, I'm gonna go back to Binding Blade, but this game was basically what I expected Binding Blade to be. And that's really it. I mean, there's nothing wrong with Blazing Blade. If I ever get into a conversation with anyone, I won't ever put this game at like great or masterpiece. I just think it's a very good game, and I honestly think it's fine there. Like, I don't think anyone could disagree that this is just a very good game, and it's okay to just kind of be hard stuck in this tier. There's no real nitpicks I can give other than I hate why Hector hard mode, like, you have to beat the game like basically 2-3 times to get there, and supports still take a pretty long amount of time to get to. They kind of made it slightly less than what Binding Blade did, but still, like, supports take a while. And also, oh yeah, there was mines and light runes. I forgot about that, and I'm pretty sure you guys might have forgotten about it. Blazing Blade, just a very good title, man. You can't go wrong with this game, whether you're a newcomer or someone who wants to challenge yourself. Hector hard mode's got something for you, and if you're a beginner, like, what better way to start with Fire Emblem than Fire Emblem? Like, come on, it's right there, man. Next, we've got Sacred Stones, and I'm going to put it at the top of good. I know I just said, like, oh, Blazing Blade's, like, you know, it deserves to be at the very top of good tier, but I personally, this is definitely my preference, but I prefer Sacred Stones, though. It's not because of the #1 complaint I see everyone say about this game about, like, you know, oh my god, it's a cardinal sin for a Fire Emblem game to allow you to grind, and oh my god, this game's so easy and so forgettable. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I see a lot of hate spewed towards this game, and it really makes me upset, yet kind of saddens me, because this game has a lot to value. Like, if we're talking about a complete package, as, like, an overall, like, game experience, right? Like, where Blazing Blade is, like, the benchmark of, like, what a Fire Emblem game should have and should be, this is a good game, more so than, like, Blazing Blade is as a Fire Emblem game. That may or may not make sense, but I'll try and break it down. Sacred Stones, again, the #1 issue with this game is a lot of people say it's very easy. A lot of people say that grinding shouldn't be in it, you know, the open map, the skirmishes, the creature campaign, stuff like that. A lot of people have a lot of just, they don't like that. They don't like that style of just, you know, if you're stuck somewhere, you can just level up, you know, you turn Ford or Franz or whoever into just an absolute god. Even though, to be fair, you have Seth in this game. That's right. Like, that's another thing. Seth makes this game so ridiculously easy. I think it's a good story. Like, I love the Renee twins. Like, I love Ephraim and Erica. I mainly love Leon, though. I just relate to Leon a ton. I love him. Like, he needs to be protected at all costs. And the villains in this game are also pretty good. Like, Walter is like, he's such a deranged villain. Like, I love just crazy bad villains. Like, that's just, I love that stuff. I eat it up. But Walter, Leon again, Orson was crazy too, even to this day. And the characters in this game are also, I think the cast of characters, it's a smaller cast, but I think they're very underrated. Lute, Arthur, Franz, Ford, you know, even Kyle helps. Ennis, Tana, Larochelle, Dozlove. I love the cast of this game, man. This game is easy. I won't lie. I do agree with that. Is it one of the easiest titles in the series? Yes. Is it the easiest title in the series? No. Grinding, I don't mind for it. And also a big thing that I love about this game too, I forgot to talk about, I wish branching promotions would come back. I really love this mechanic, being able to not completely turn like Franz into a Wyvern Lord. Instead, he has to, you know, be like either a paladin or a great knight, you know? Like, I really love that. Like, I wish that system would come back in future Fire Emblems, because I feel we have kind of ran away from, like, character unit identity. But, yeah, I mean, this game, to wrap up so I don't glaze it too hard, this is just a fun game. It's just fun, and just leave it at that. Like, so what if you can grind? So what if this game took you like 3 minutes to do in a speedrun challenge? I love this game, man. It's very near and dear to my heart. It's just a fun comfort game. Which one do you prefer? You know, do you want a legit Fire Emblem title? Do you want like an original Fire Emblem experience, or do you just want something fun? And personally, I'm at that point in my life where I just want something fun. So Sacred Stones, top of good tier. All right, so Path of Radiance. You know what, man? I'm just gonna do this, man. It's the Tellius games, dude. Like, we know this is peak. These two games are just goated, man. Like, I don't think there's any other Fire Emblem game in the series outside of like maybe Genealogy, and maybe like when we get to it, Three Houses, possibly. We'll talk about it when we get there. These two games are just so astonishing and how well they tell story. But let's focus on one at a time. Let's start with Path of Radiance. I mean, Path of Radiance, the story is just probably one of the best stories I've ever experienced in a video game. Like, I know I was just like saying, oh, Genealogy, there's no story in the Fire Emblem series that'll come close to it. But I did say like there's like maybe 1 or 2 games, and these are the 1 and 2 games. But Path of Radiance, the story is so well done. The amount of detail that's given to it. Genealogy, like, because it's an older game, and same with Thracia, like, while I'm saying these two games are peak, they also, I think, had some of the worst sales in the entire series. Like, the storytelling is great. This was the first game where we had a protagonist that wasn't just a noble lord. We had Ike, who was a mercenary. You want to talk about a character that I feel like does their service to who they are in Smash? Ike does a great job. Sorry, Binding Blade fans, by the way. Like, this was a Binding Blade hate propaganda video, honestly, where it's like Ike, like, I feel like he represents himself well in both Smash and in this game. He is such a good, relatable, great character, man. There's not one person I don't think who hates Ike, man. Like, Ike is so good as a character. And for the story that they were trying to tell with the Tellius games, namely Path of Radiance specifically, Ike is the perfect protagonist for this game. And not only just is it him, but like all the characters in this game are great. You have Soren, Titania, Boyd, Mist, Har, Jill, a lot of the characters in this game. Ranulph, how could I forget about Ranulph, man? There's a lot of good characters in this game. The setting is great. The soundtrack is more on like an epic movie scale type level. This game doesn't really do anything wrong. Like, it really can't do any wrong other than the gameplay, which, I mean, I think the gameplay is fitting for this game because the gameplay is pretty like piss baby easy. It's hard to mess up, I feel, in this game, outside of like maybe like a few instances, like maybe when you fight the Black Knight, like if you just don't level up Mist, or just you're just not lucky in that fight. I think this game is the easiest game compared to like Sacred Stones. Like, people say Sacred Stones is really baby easy. I think this game's easier because you have so many more systems. Sure, Sacred Stones, you have Seth and grinding. You have the bonus XP system, the skill system, character supports were a lot more fleshed out too. Also, the character support system in this game was very, like, I think this was the peak of character supports in all of Fire Emblem. It was chapter based. It wasn't like just wait next to someone for 200 turns following the GBA era. It did carry over the 5 max support conversations, which is the biggest sin this game does in my opinion. But as I was saying about the gameplay, there's a lot of things that is for you, as well as oh yeah, weapon forging debuted here as well. Weapon forging was so busted in this game too. Path of Radiance is a masterpiece, man. This is a certified hood classic, better yet, of a Fire Emblem game. And it makes me so sad that I can't get a hard copy of this game, because so many people have realized how much of a godsend of a game this was, like in the entire franchise, that you have to spend a king's ransom to get it, man. Like, it pisses me off so much, because I would do anything to get a hard copy of this game, man. Emulating this game would be better because save states, of course, and the fact that enemy phasing in this game takes way too damn long, which they wouldn't learn any of these lessons in Radiant Dawn. Enemy phasing was 20 times worse with Radiant Dawn. To end off, play Path of Radiance if you haven't. In my opinion, you aren't a true Fire Emblem fan until you play the Tellius games, until you experience, namely Path of Radiance. But now, we're going to move on to Radiant Dawn, because I bet you're wondering, why is Radiant Dawn below Path of Radiance? Well, with Radiant Dawn is just like, let's get to the brass tacks about it. Radiant Dawn is a far greater ambitious title than Path of Radiance. Path of Radiance, when you first play this game, you're like, this is as ambitious as Fire Emblem will ever be. You would think, right? Go into Radiant Dawn, and like out the gate, this game just kind of tells you this is not Path of Radiance's smaller scale story, which is crazy to say this is like a smaller scale story, but Radiant Dawn justifies it. I mean, from the get-go, you're not the Grail Mercenaries, you're playing as the Dawn Brigade, who I think everyone in the community hates. I mean, it's Micaiah, who I don't think will ever double in the game, but she does turn into like a tactical nuke later in the game. I think her magic growths are really crazy, but her speed growths are just yikes. You have Edward, Leonardo, and just a bunch of baby units like Meg, Fiona, who are all being carried by Uncle Nolan and Big Brother Soph. You go from the Dawn Brigade to the Crimean Royal Army to finally the Grail Mercenaries. And I do like that storytelling, I will say, but it also kind of messes up the flow. Radiant Dawn is like, 1 minute you'll be super weak, you have to play it like Thracia to a degree on how weak you are. Radiant Dawn with the Dawn Brigade, you're just crazy weak. The Crimean Royal Knights are like a mix, and then the Grail Mercenaries just one-tap everything. I do love the parts of this game. Like, part 1's pretty hard, part 2's kind of a mix, part 3's pretty easy because you're playing mainly as the Grail Mercenaries, then you get a reality check as you go back to the Dawn Brigade for some godforsaken reason. And then part 4 is, I think, one of the best ending phases of like a video game. I think it's so epic that you get to like basically pick through this crazy stacked roster of every broken character in the entirety of the Tellius duology, split them into teams and take them for like the final battle. Like, it's so epic, dude. The gameplay in this game is a lot more challenging than Path of Radiance. This game, they finally kind of balanced more of like the bonus XP, the skill system's a lot more balanced too. The animations in this game are also much better, and many just quality of life changes that Path of Radiance didn't have are made here. But Radiant Dawn, the big thing that I will always remember that makes me put this game a tier down is the support system. While the support system is goated because you can basically support anyone with anybody and get a lot of benefits and rewards from it, there's no support conversations, because if you support Ike with like Micaiah, it's like, yo, what's up, Ike? You know, Ike's like, yo, what's up, Micaiah? And that's kind of it. You know, that's the conversations. Yo, what's up? They just dab each other up or say, you're so cool, I wish I could be like you, and that's really it. I get why that needed to be done. This game was just super big. There was just so much they did. But the thing is, they added so many new characters, like Edward, Leonardo, and the other members of the Dawn Brigade, that you kind of need to allow us to get more of a vibe and more of an idea of who these characters are. And yes, there's still camp conversations, which I still think they should bring back in like future Fire Emblem games, but it's just not enough. It's not enough to justify it. And the second issue with this game that also has it lower is, as I said with Path of Radiance, enemy phasing in this game is so pathetically bad. I think at the end of part 3, it's like this massive battle where like you can just feel the intensity of it, and you're just like, oh my god, like it's actual war. Like, it's akin to Genealogy. The problem is, like, you, I think, just control like the Grail Mercenaries for the most part, but what ends up happening is after you end your in-player phase, you have to just kind of sit there for like 30 minutes to like an hour waiting for your phase to come back. That is the peak of how bad the phasing was in like the entire series. It's both a meme, like I love it, I love it for that, funny enough, but I also am like, I really don't like sitting here waiting 500 turns until I get to act. I don't enjoy that. But Radiant Dawn, Path of Radiance, I mean, Radiant Dawn, it's still a masterpiece of a game. You can't go wrong with it. I'm very excited to replay this game too. I'm planning to replay all the Fire Emblems, as a matter of fact, on like a harder difficulty, like the hardest difficulty. Like, I genuinely cannot wait, because Radiant Dawn, it's just such a masterpiece in its own right. Like, I love how ambitious it is. I don't think there's anyone who disagrees with me on that notion. So, 2 of the best games, and probably 2 of our only masterpieces. Stay tuned. But very well deserved for both of these games. Alright, so now we go to the DS era Fire Emblem, which I'm not gonna lie, I kind of forgot about these games. But the remake of Shadow Dragon, I didn't really like this game. And a lot of other people I've seen online, like YouTube, Reddit, etc., they've also kind of said this game was just not really good. For me, I just don't like the entire package of what this game offers. Like, it's just not enough compared to like what these games have. And the story is just very simple, basic, and vanilla, which I think Shadow Dragon, like the OG one, did. Like, it had a pretty basic premise. But this one, like, you know, you would think in a remake, maybe it'll do some more things, give Marth a little more character, you know. Like, I do like Marth, I love Sita, you know, Tiki. They're all iconic characters that we see in Heroes and in, like, even future games, right? The story's just not really enough for them. Like, you would expect there to just be more, you know, like even support conversations. I don't think there's really support conversations in this game. I forget if there are, but if there are any support conversations, I mean, I forget them because they're not really anything to really write home about. The pros of this game I have, the gameplay I think is like, it's not the best gameplay, but it's good gameplay for what this game offers. There's a lot of challenge in this game. The reclass anyone to anything system began in this game too. So, you know, when you can reclass into a Wyvern Lord in 3 Houses or Awakening or whatever, this game is the one to thank. The only problem is I think this game went overboard with that. Like, you could turn anybody to anything. Like, you could turn Jagan, the OG Jagan, into a Wyvern Lord, and you can get a pretty decent amount of use out of him compared to if you played with him just as a Paladin, I think. That and the fact that this game has an unlimited range warp staff. There's some pretty bad maps in this game that you just want to insta-skip. Big up that, honestly. Other than that, man, that's really it. This game had like 2 things that I really didn't like, and that was enemy variety. The main types of enemies you're fighting in this game are armors and calves, if I can recall, and there's weapon forging in this game, and all I would do is like weapon forge wind spears, which is Sita's main weapon. That weapon had effectiveness against calves and armors, and you could like up the damage so much to the point you basically just one tap them. Yeah, there was just no variety outside of calves and armors from what I can recall. The biggest thing that this game is known for, other than that and its art style, is also the fact that you had to kill your own units to like get access to other units. Like every other Fire Emblem, you could get a full party. You could get like every character, every recruitable character, outside of maybe 1 or 2 that you had to do something oddly specific for. No, this game was like, hey dude, like just suck at the game and you'll get rewarded. Like you would get like some random like trash dudes. Like you would get some random dude named John, and he wouldn't have a portrait or anything because this game like anticipated you to like just kind of suck. You purposely had to suck to experience all the characters in this game, and that's just a massive no-no, man. But Shadow Dragon, I'm just gonna keep it short and sweet. Didn't like this game, don't want to talk about it. Let's move on. Okay, after Shadow Dragon, we have New Mystery of the Emblem. This one I did enjoy more. I can't say I dislike it. I will put it in the mid tier, but it's like hanging loosely at the end of mid tier, because I'm like, this game, like, it does do Shadow Dragon better, but not by like a whole ton. But this was the game that started the Chris, aka the My Unit era of Fire Emblem. Like, I will say both these games, while I did dog on Shadow Dragon, both these games did do a lot for the future of the franchise. Like, where a lot of the inspiration for a lot of the systems we have nowadays came from. Like, that's really cool. The story is, I do think, slightly better than Shadow Dragon. There is a lot more layers and depth to the story. It's not by like a whole lot. The characters are a little more fleshed out too this time around, even though their support conversations or camp conversations, whatever they are, it's basically just them telling Chris how cool like he is, or like Chris telling them like, hey, like basically Chris like encouraging them or something like that. But a lot of this game, it's more or less the same as Shadow Dragon. The only difference is Chris, some supports, much more enemy variety. They finally learned that, hey, maybe we shouldn't just make it just 90% calves and armors. The soundtrack also is kind of, I kind of like think the soundtrack's kind of underrated in this game. That's kind of the pros I have for this. Oh yeah, also One more thing, the difficulty. This is a great. Well, actually, both these games I forgot to mention Shadow Dragon. These games are great for challenge runs. So if you're doing like a lunatic reverse or hard 5 playthrough, like these games, they are phenomenal for challenge runs. But now let's get into the dislikes, so we can kind of get through these games. There's a lot of reinforcements in this game. That was one thing I noticed. I know like ambush reinforcements is a Fire Emblem staple. This game I think has it like the worst from what I can possibly recall. This game also, I talked about Chris ad nauseum. I'm going to talk more about Chris. They can't not talk about Chris for like more than like 1 second. Like if there's not 2 sentences about Chris in a cutscene, this game goes way out of its way to just like let you know you exist. You're a part of this story. Like this game just basically like fillets you. I hate to use that term, but it does that. This game just worships you and just tells you how cool and epic you are and how Marth couldn't do any of this without you. Like you are the wheel that makes this whole thing turn. I know like this is the first time they did a My Unit, and it would be a Fire Emblem staple, of course. This was not the way to do it. And also just the claymation art style, as I talked a little bit with Shadow Dragon, continues here. Just no, that's not working. And the drill grounds also makes this game, like Sacred Stones and all the games where you have to skirmish, there's like little to any risk, I'm pretty sure. The drill grounds was so abusable and stupid, man. I did not like that. But that's pretty much it about New Mystery. To wrap up, it's basically Shadow Dragon, but Chris is in it, and Chris is all we think about. That's my thoughts on new Chris, new Chris of the Emblem, basically. Not New Mystery, I'm sorry, but that's just this game. Alright, we're finished with the DS era, now the 3DS era. And Awakening. I'm gonna drop the... I was honestly thinking, like when I first saw this, for like the moment I did, I was like, wait, actually, maybe very good. It's a great game, man. Awakening... I know a lot of people have been talking about this game recently. I've seen some like people bring it up. Okay, Awakening, it's been like 12 years now, guys. Like, let's start kind of pointing out the problems with this game. But it's just a great game, and it's not even for like, you know, the thing I of course like parade about all the time. Like, hey, if you don't have a good story, like don't talk to me, right? It's a fun game that just makes you feel good about being a Fire Emblem fan. This game was the game that really started a new generation of Fire Emblem fans. It absolutely did everything it needed to do to bring the series back from the grave it was teetering on. Like at the time, this was the most feature-complete Fire Emblem we've ever had. The inheritance child system, like that came back from Genealogy, only it didn't take a generation. You could have Owain and of course Lucina, right? Like that reminds me too, so many iconic names and characters. Chrom, Robin, Lissa, even guys like Virion and Gaius, man. This game has such an iconic roster and just so many nods to old games. There was so much innovation with this game. It was just a love letter to Fire Emblem as a whole, man. The pair-up system was here. I mean, we actually had, like, I think still to this day, the best protagonist, like, customizable protagonist we've had in the entire series, and Robin. Robin, guy or girl, was just a cool character. Like, they were just cool. They were relatable to a degree. They were just fun, even though they're still the most broken character, I think, in the entire Fire Emblem series. Like, the presentation in this game was amazing. Still to this day, I think it's aged gracefully. I still like kind of go back and watch cutscenes, you know. The soundtrack, oh my bro, the soundtrack of this game, bangers like Don't Speak Her Name, Conquest, Chaos, the Shepherd's Garrison theme, like when you recruit people, like that's an absolute slap, dude. Like this game is just great, dude. The package it brings, it's no wonder like so many people flock to Fire Emblem after this game, and for perfect reason. It's very casual friendly. Just this game's good for like both the veteran and the newcomer. I still think this is a good starting point game. While it isn't like as tried and true as Blazing Blade is, this game is just like it's kind of in that Sacred Stones category where it's like people who don't like this game, if you ask them about Sacred Stones, you'll be like, huh, there's a correlation with that. But anyway, I'm not here to start wars. It's a stupidly fun game, but it's not perfect. The story, I hate to say it, but the story, this game takes a massive dive after the Gangrel arc, and then after that the game just kind of falls. Like I don't remember much in the story other than Walmart and his freaking conquest, like the Vom thing. And then Sairi and Yinfei, like I remember a bit of them. And of course the ending with like Rima and stuff and like Robin's decision. The gameplay is also very unbalanced in this game. Gale Force is still to this day, I mean, bro, like you can get through so much of this game with Gale Force. It's very easy to be overpowered in this game. Strategy is a suggestion when it comes to this game. The only time strategy is a real like thing in this game is with like Lunatic Plus, and the Apotheosis DLC. The difficulty, like this game, if you play on normal and hard for the most part, it is so like, it's pretty easy. But with the moment you go to Lunatic, this game is just like, oh, so you want a challenge? Bet. To wrap up, this game, while I was thinking about lowering it because I'm like, it's aged, and like, yeah, it's the game that saved Fire Emblem, haha, right? Let's be real, man. This game is great. It is like the complete package, everything it brings. It just makes me giddy and blush like a little schoolgirl when I see Awakening. It's just a fun game. Like, I've said fun 50 times, but that's all I can think about this game. This isn't super hard or complex game to get into. It's good for everybody, right? Like, if you want a challenge, this is also a pretty good challenge on Fire Emblem. There's so much stuff in it. And it's also just easy and forgiving. I think Phoenix Mode debuted here, I forget. Awakening, it's just a great game, man. I think it's a great game for what it is. It's not a great Fire Emblem game at its core, but I think this is the first Fire Emblem game that is a complete package, like a true complete package of like something for everyone. That's the best way to describe it. All right, so now we're going to Fates and its routes, and it starts with Birthright. I really did not like Birthright. This was the first game I've played that some games are so bad that like you can find some entertainment with it, right? Birthright isn't bad. It's just so insultingly easy and predictable. There's just no fun to be had. You can find fun in bad things, but you can't find fun in something that is just so overly predictable. Let's just get into it. Let's break this down. Okay, so first, positives, right? Let's think positive, okay? All right. The story, I think, is the best out of the other Fates routes. I know that's not saying much, considering Fates has been dragged across the entire Fire Emblem community and just the internet. It's beating a dead horse if we talk about Fates' story. I think Birthright has the best story out of all 3, 2, whatever of them, right? Map variety, this is mainly just me saying like Hoshin aesthetic. I do like the Hoshin aesthetic. I think that's cool. The Dragon Veins are interesting, more interesting than the other two, personally. And Hoshido's cool. I like Hinoka. She's a waifu for me. Like I like her. I mean, yeah, that's where it ends. Those are my positives. As for negatives, I'm gonna try and speedrun these because I don't like having to speak ill, because I know this is someone's. I know Binding Blade, like I went kind of hard on that, but Birthright, let's move on. The maps are boring and generic. I know I just said, oh, the Hoshin aesthetic. That's the only redeemable thing about the maps. And a lot of the reason the maps are boring and generic are because they have little to any strategy. When you approach these maps, they require little to any strategy because you want to know what the objectives are on these maps, route the enemy, and defeat the boss. And most of these maps are literally just straight lines to the boss, or just like the enemies just have little to any like intelligence. Not only that, they have no skills. Birthright will throw like one enemy with like Vantage at you, and like that's it. Like that's your skill variety. Because like Awakening started kind of the skill emblem era we're in. You know that meme like Hydrogen Bomb versus Coughing Baby? That's your team versus the enemies. You get Ryoma as well on top of that. Enemies don't have any skills. So you get Ryoma, who's Seth on crack. You also have grinding options. This is the Fisher Price of Fire Emblem games. Like, oh, anyway, to wrap up, okay, to just get to my point so we can move on. I'm sorry. I know this is probably someone's favorite Fire Emblem, and it hurts me to like drag this game. I know I dragged Binding Blade, as I said before, but Birthright is just, to me, it feels so insultingly easy. I didn't like this game, and this was the first game I felt genuine like hatred towards. And that's like hard for a game to do for someone like me. But let's move on. Let's talk about Conquest. So, Conquest. Bottom of great tier. It isn't even night and day between like Birthright, even Revelations, and like Conquest. I'm just gonna say it, like Conquest, it's like a solar system seismic type gap that Conquest has between like the other two routes. Conquest is up here not because its story is good. I think the story is the worst story I think we've ever had in all of Fire Emblem. If we're talking about story, this shouldn't even be on the list. Conquest's story is so bad, but again, Fates' story is so bad that, like, let's just not get into it. It's beating a dead horse. In terms of a complete package, like Awakening Sacred Stones, like, it's not on that level there. Like, I mean, outside of DLC, Conquest's gameplay is like this is the first Fire Emblem in the entire series, like on this list, that is ranked so high because of gameplay alone. Story, that's all I yap and talk about. But Conquest showed me that if you just have some of the best gameplay in the world, you should still deserve to be up here. Conquest, I think, is the best way to improve to improve your efficiency as a Fire Emblem player, and also it is the best game that teaches you the best way to use a game's mechanics to the best of its potential. Fates' systems, like, if it was just up to Birthright and Revelation, like, say Conquest didn't exist and it was just Birthright and Revelations, Fates would be, like, the worst Fire Emblem game, like, in the series, personally, for me. Like, I would have rated Fates so low. But Conquest does, like, literally all of the lifting. Like, the lifting that Conquest does is biblical. I'm going to use that big of a word, biblical. The maps, again, Chapter 10 is just a certified hood classic in terms of how efficient and how smart can you be as a player? Can you divide your army accordingly and effectively, right? Also, again, this is a game where you can't just throw units out there and let them one-man army things like in Birthright. You can't just throw Corrin, you know, like you do Robin or Chris out there in the open and have them 1v100 everybody. Same with Ryoma. You don't have access to Ryoma. And as a matter of fact, you have to fight Ryoma. I will never forget the chapter you have to fight him on because I am permanently traumatized from that chapter because I tried to play that, I think it's chapter 25. That chapter has scarred me so much. Like, I spent 5 hours on that chapter because I tried to play that chapter legitly. Like, I know you can just, like, throw Corrin in the pit against Ryoma before he acts in 25 turns. Me, I tried to play that map like an actual normal human being. And I learned that you shouldn't play that like an actual normal human being. The in-game maps in Fates, as a matter of fact, those maps are like, that's Guantanamo Bay levels of torture. The in-game maps, 25, 26, 27, like all those maps. And how you also have to, I think, with 26 and 27, if you die, like at the map where you have to fight Takumi at the end, you have to do like 2 of those maps over again, which is mad. You have to make so many decisions and you have to use everything. For example, Shura. I love Shura. Shura is one of my favorite characters in Fates and a bit in Fire Emblem. But instead of killing him for the boots, like everyone else did, I actually decided, hey, I'm gonna use Shura. Like, I'm gonna actually use this guy and I'm gonna support him and stuff. And oh my god, like, I got a lot out of Shura. But you could still get the same amount of value with Shura, if not more, if you decide to go with the boots. There's so many decisions and so many questions you have to answer that Fates doesn't give you the answer to. You have to just kind of find it on your own and make the most of it. There's no grinding in this. You have to be smart with who you give your XP to. You can't rely on Xander, Camilla, and Leo to bail you out when you get them. Sure, they're pretty strong, but like they can't 1v100 anybody. They can't do that. You have to actually use the pair-up system. You have to use the dual strike system. You have to use the seal system. You have to use the skill system, all to your advantage. Where Birthright has no skills whatsoever. Pretty much every unit in Conquest has like 3 skills. Like, it turns into heroes for a moment. I will say, while I'm glazing Conquest so hard for the gameplay, this is a hard title. Definitely, like, I would say it's harder than Thracia. Like, I rank this as like a top 3 most difficult Fire Emblem title. I played this on hard difficulty, and let me tell you, it is no joke. Hard is actually hard in Conquest. There's no disrespect given to you if you switch down to normal or even Phoenix mode for Conquest. Because of that, this is like a very well-paced gameplay Fire Emblem. But this route alone, Conquest does so much right that Fates needed in order to redeem itself. Revelations and Birthright, they do so much wrong that Conquest needed to be here to save the day. Some of the maps do feel gimmicky, and while the endgame chapters are cruel and unusual punishment, I will say this is the ultimate test for every Fire Emblem player. Best Fire Emblem in terms of gameplay we've had on this list so far, and honestly, it looks like it probably will remain that way. And last but not least, we finish off Fates with Revelation, or Revelations, as I also keep mistakenly like pluralizing this. I caught myself like when I was talking about it. Do any of you guys also have that problem? Like, you just mistakenly pluralize this game? Like, let me know. But Revelation, I think, yeah, you know, top of mid tier. Yeah, I'm gonna put Revelation in the top of mid tier. This isn't like the worst route, I will say. Like, in terms of gameplay, this is like the most balance I think you're gonna get in Fates. But Revelation, you can kind of just take your time and chill. This is just kind of the golden route of Fates. I do like the maps. I think the maps are pretty creative in Revelation, and every map is something different, even though I think they do go a little too far. Waiting for platforms, you know, like there's like an elevator type map. There's like a red light, green light map I kind of remembered. And oh yeah, who can forget, like, you have to shovel snow. But yeah, the maps I think are pretty varied, and a lot of that too is also, you're going from Nor to Hoshido to ultimately Vala. Damn it, I said the word. I'm gonna combust, guys. I'm sorry. Gameplay is supposed to be a perfect blend of Conquest and Birthright. It's a lie in that regard. Like, it's not the most balanced because you get characters at like the worst time in Revelation. I think you get Odin Dark, right? Odin, like, I think when you get him in Conquest, he's like pretty weak, but in Revelation, like, when you get him, like, he's so stupid weak. Like, you get him at a part of the game where he's basically just a body. He's just there. You get a lot of characters that are like that in Revelation because, again, it's supposed to be the golden route where you get all of the Hoshiden and Nor cast, right? You even get access to Fuga too, like hell. And I think the final battle is really cool. Fighting a mythical dragon in a non-coast in outer space. Also, one thing I forgot to talk about all of Fates games is I really think Fates has like a top 3, top 5 soundtrack in all of Fire Emblem. Fates' soundtrack is so good. You Are the Ocean's Gray Waves. I used to hate that song with a burning passion, but I love that song. Like, I hum it like when I clean and do stuff. Like, I love that song, man. And one of my favorite songs in Fates is called A Light or All Light. I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's a really good song. Love it. You're probably hearing it now. Yeah, that's really all the positives are for Revelation. There are a lot of negatives, and a lot of that is the fact that it is $20 to get, even though you can't get this route anymore. You have to kind of sail the high seas if you want to play this. The maps are very gimmicky. While they're very varied and very varied, jeez, they are very gimmicky. I know I said Conquest's maps are pretty gimmicky. Revelation, it literally tells Conquest, hold my beer. There's a lot of dragon veins, I think, last time I recalled playing Revelation. Like, there's just so many. Like, they just kind of shoved them down our throat. The story is not the best like Birthrights, even though like Birthrights is like decent at best. Conquest is the less said the better. Revelation story, because it overuses death so much, Scarlet dies again in Revelation. Lilith dies again, I think, too. Izana, like, I liked Izana, he was a cool dude. He dies after telling Takumi, like, hey, you need to join Korin. And then he dies of cringe. That's pretty much how he dies. And the final battle, while I just kind of said, oh, it's really cool, it's the easiest final battle. And yeah, that's really it about Revelation. I think this is the shortest I've gone about the Fates routes. If you want the most of Fates, but you don't want it to be as hard or as pathetically easy as Birthright, play Revelation. It's not bad, it's just very mid. That's the best way I can conclude about Revelation. It's just mid. That's it. It's just mid. And now for the finale of the 3DS era, Echoes. I really want to kind of put it up in Masterpiece. But you know what? I'll put it in the very top of great tier. I do think it's better than Awakening, but that's just for presentation. Like, Awakening's presentation is like S+. Like, Awakening's presentation is great too, but Echoes just absolutely demolishes. I'm pretty sure to this very day, Echoes has the best presentation in the entire franchise. And you can talk to anyone about this game, and they'll tell you how much they have fell in love with just Echoes' presentation, to the extent where it's like no game in the series, and not even the future games, I believe, have caught up to Echoes' presentation. You have anime-like cutscenes. The art style from Hidari is phenomenal. The art style is stellar. The story for about 70% is pretty good. And the ending map, like the ending map and 70% of the story is pretty good. But the other 30%, like Act 4, I think it is, when Celica has to go, like, she makes a deal with Jeddah, and she basically just turns into a damsel in distress. Like, I really hate what they did with Celica, because her and Alm, I love both of them, but I feel like they don't get enough respect as much as they should. I mean, Alm gets a lot of respect because he ends up saving Celica. And Celica, they just kind of killed off her character in Act 4. Like, they just kind of, again, as I said, they turned into a damsel in distress, and that just killed a lot of what she already had. Like, I liked Celica before, and then I was just like, what? Like, really, Celica? Like, that's the biggest problem I have with the story with Echoes. But other than that, the soundtrack in this game is a top 5, top 3. Twilight of Gods is peak. Like, That is one of the best final map soundtracks we've ever had. That's one of my favorite songs too. Like, I can go to the gym with that song like bass boosted, man. That song slaps, man. The voice acting, just look up Berkut's voice acting lines. Like, look up when he screams lies. I love Berkut, man. I love him even though he is very much not right in the head after what he did to Renee. But anyway, voice acting's great. I love the characters. All the characters have like personality, like Tobin, Cliff, Gray, you know, Clive, Python, Forsyth on Alm's side. Then you've got, you know, on Celica's side, you got Bowie and May, who deserve so much in Heroes. Like, I still don't know how they don't have a duo in Heroes. And then you've got Volbar, Kamui, Leon, and then you've got Celica's brother that I'm just so confused with why he exists. I'm gonna be honest. And yeah, I mean, Mila's Turnwheel also debuted here. Combat Arts debuted here, which would go into Three Houses, of course. And I also just really love the dungeon crawling. I think some people hate this game for the dungeon crawling. I actually liked it. It was just a nice change of pace compared to a lot of the other games. And yeah, I mean, for the most part, this is like my favorite remake of any game I've ever played. And I've played like the Final Fantasy VII remakes. I've played both the first one, like the first part of it, and Rebirth. And just Echoes, like, it just warms my heart when I turn it on, man. Like, it's such a great game. But the biggest problem with this game, of course, is the maps, namely like on Celica's route. Like, the maps are all pretty bad because like it's you against a army of cavaliers, and you're just sitting there like in the middle of nowhere while like a bunch of cavs just jump and goon you. Basically, they just run you down. But yeah, the maps are pretty bad in this game. Celica's route is the worst. I compared Celica's route to the beaches of Normandy because she's literally in the desert, she's in the swamps with cantors and witches. Yeah, Celica they really did not like Celica in this game. They really didn't. The skirmishes were also something I did not like too. The fact that like you would move once and then the skirmishes would just block you from, if you were just trying to quickly like do something at another region, the skirmishes pop up and just kind of roadblock you. Like, you have to just deal with it, and you're just like, I'm not in the mood to do this right now. That's kind of it for Echoes. Very good game, man. In terms of presentation and story, S+, like masterpiece. But because of the maps and the gameplay being kind of the way it is, because the gameplay is very reminiscent from what I've heard of the OG Gaiden. The authenticity and callbacks that this game does to the original Gaiden in terms of maps and gameplay, I do like that. But, I mean, this game really could have had better maps, especially on Celica's route, man. Still need to finish, I think Act 5, the bonus act for this game. I need to get back into that. Great game. Highly recommend it. If you want to see the pinnacle of presentation in gaming, play Echoes. Alright, so that's most of the games done, but now we've got just a few more. It's mainly kind of spin-offs. Heroes, I'm actually gonna put Heroes in, I'm gonna add a new category into, well, a new part of the Did Not Play tier, just etc. Because Heroes, I'm gonna be doing like a full-fledged like review, should you play Heroes in 2025 type video. I'm gonna be going very in detail about this because a lot of the content I'm planning to do on this channel will have to do with Heroes. It's also going to be just a bunch of Fire Emblem stuff, of course, but it's going to be a lot of Heroes because Heroes is like the only Fire Emblem game we have that is consistently like giving us content and stuff. So look out for that very soon. Then we've got Warriors. Did not play Warriors, even though I actually can play it. I have a friend who has been telling me like, yo, at any moment, if you want me to lend over my copy, just ask. I just haven't gotten to it, but I've heard some pretty good things about Warriors. And Tokyo Mirage Sessions, never played it. I've only really heard of this game because of Heroes, honestly. That's pretty much it for Did Not Play, by the way. We're done there. We've only got 3 more games, so let's wrap this up. So all we have left now are the Switch era of games. And what better way to kick it off than, well, with the game that got me into Fire Emblem 3 years ago, Three Houses. Three Houses, man, I hate Three Houses. Oh, I hate this game so much, man. I'm joking. I'm joking. Realistically, for me, Three Houses, I will... You know what? Yeah, I think it's at the top of great. I'll put Three Houses here. This is not also just because of bias, but this game, Three Houses, was the game that kind of began this, like, the third wave, I think, because we had the first wave from Blazing Blade. You had the second wave from Awakening, and now you have the third wave of like new players pretty much. This game, I was 3 years late to this game. Played this game in the summer of 2022. I'm still doing a maddening Silver Snow, no New Game Plus playthrough. I'm trying to get the golden loading screen. I'm almost done with that, a few more chapters. Playing this game, I will never forget that like when I first got into this game, it was remarkable. The cast in this game are iconic, dude. Edelgard, we are still talking about if what she did was right or wrong to this very day. Guys, it's been 5-6 years since this game came out. I think it was 2019. We're in 2025, and we still don't know if what Edelgard did was right or wrong. We have Dimitri, one of my favorite, I think my favorite lord in the entirety of Three Houses after I played all 3 routes. Claude was initially my favorite. I started with the Golden Deer, but Claude kind of started falling low on my lord list in this game, just because Yuri existed, and Yuri was everything I wanted. Let's get quickly through the pros and cons, because this list has been going on for forever now. But Three Houses, great cast, right? The cast of characters in this game, I mean, it's not just even from the lords. I mean, even Byleth has some personality, even though their personality wouldn't be expanded upon until Three Hopes. But just there's so many good characters. I mean, all the students in this game, I think of like Felix, Sylvain, Shamir. I mean, Shamir's my #1 waifu, by the way. Got Hubert, Ferdinand, Von Eyre. Oh, Ferdy, I love you, man. Thracia, you know, Hilda, Marianne, the first S support I ever had in this game. Like, this cast is so colorful, great, and just expansive, man. Like, it's a great cast of characters. Gameplay of Three Houses is also pretty good. You can cheese it in a variety of ways, most notably Wyvern Lords, but there's a lot of like things you can do in this game. I think everyone's played Three Houses in some crazy way. Just go on YouTube or Reddit and just look up like a litany of playthroughs. There's people who've done like armor only challenges, or can I beat the game with only Lysithea, or can I beat the game with only Byleth, of course, right? Like, there's so many different things you can do. Also, yeah, Three Houses has the best soundtrack in the entire series. I stand by that. I mean, Fodlan Wins, right? Chasing Daybreak, that's one of my favorite songs in the entire series. Apex of the World, another favorite of mine in the entire series. And who can forget God Shattering Star? But now that it's been, as I said, like 5-6 years now, Three Houses, I'm not gonna lie, it's gone stale in my opinion, and a lot of that comes from heroes and just how long it's been in the community's word of mouth. You know, like, this game has just been talked to and done so much for so long that I think the entire community, you can kind of see it like in a lot of discussions online, whether that be, you know, anywhere on social media, namely Twitter, of course. You can just see people are just kind of fatigued with it, or just trying to like just continue the arguments that the Edelgard discourse, or, you know, talking about like how complex the characters are, right? I can't tell you how many documentaries or autobiographies I see from people all online about these characters. And honestly, for me, I'm just kind of fatigued, not from like how much they love these characters, but just because I feel like I've learned everything about these characters. I've seen everything about these characters. I've done everything with these characters. And it doesn't help that like when you replay this game, the monastery is the #1 thing anyone, including me, will complain about. As I told you guys, I'm doing a Silver Snow maddening playthrough with no New Game Plus, and the amount of time the monastery has stolen from me in my playthrough. The monastery is just so time consuming, even when you do try to get past all of that, even when you don't do all the bonus activities and stuff like that, when you don't eat out with your student, and fish too, right? If you don't do the stuff in the monastery, you're losing so many resources. And those resources are like pivotal to getting through like much of the game, especially in the later half. Post time skip, the monastery is just, you are done to death with it. It's not even just that. This game also reuses a lot of maps. The difficulty of Cindered Shadows is just stupid. I did not enjoy playing that DLC. I do love the Ashen Wolves though, namely Yuri. Yuri is one of my favorite characters too. Take a shot every time you hear me say the character's a favorite character of mine. To conclude on Three Houses, because I know I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go through this quickly. I love this game. This was the game that got me into Fire Emblem, along with many of you guys, I assume. But I am just tired of it now, you know, especially with like, as I said, Heroes just had another new banner with all the lords again, and it's tiresome now. Like, I'm just done to death with this game. I love it, and it will always remain in my heart. But once I finish like my last playthrough with this game, like Silver Snow, and get the golden menu screen, I'm gonna put this game up for a while, because while I'm so thankful for it, I'm also just so tired of it. But I cannot ignore the fact it's also done much of what Awakening and Blazing Blade has done. Like, this game rejuvenated the series for the modern era and kept Fire Emblem still on the map. It does have my respect, and it does have a lot of my love. It's a great game, just it's time to rest. It's not, Grandpa, let's get you back to bed. Great game, just tired. All right, and then next up, what we've got is Three Hopes, which is our first spin-off game, I think, pretty much throughout this entire list. What's the point of ranking all? I should have just named this all the mainline games instead of, you know, the spin-offs, but I did play Three Hopes, so the list isn't completely doomed. But I'll put Three Hopes here. I had fun with it. This was my first Warriors game, first and foremost, but the genre that Warriors games do, it's I think it's called Muso, but I'm going to be quick with Three Hopes. Like, I'm going to try and speed run through it because this list has been going on forever and I'm kind of ready to wrap it up. Three Hopes, not a mainline entry, different routes you have. I mean, people would be rioting in the streets right now, especially after Azure Gleam and what they did with Edelgard. But Shez is a top 3 like unit for me. My unit, like, I love Shez. Robin, Byleth, then Shez for me. And I also got to meet Mil Shez's voice actor not too long ago. Got to meet Damien Haas. Shouts out to him. This game is pretty just fan service for the most part. That's all it really is. The Byleths, both like female and male Byleth, are fully voice acted and you can actually support them and stuff. I think that's really cool, and it just proved to us that Byleth needed to be fully voiced in OG Three Houses. But yeah, there's a lot of fun things, like you get to finally meet Hilda's brother Holst. So many of the names in Three Houses finally get faces in Hopes, which is really good. So if you're a huge fan of Fodlan and the lore and the world and all that, play Three Hopes, because Three Hopes expands on that on a medium like fan service type of scale. But this game's really good. Like, I enjoyed it. I know a lot of people, well, not a lot of people, but I've seen some people kind of just say Three Hopes is just kind of a booty game. I enjoyed it. It was fun for what it is. There is a lot to do in this game to a degree, but also it can be very repetitive because all you're doing is just kind of, it's a hack and slash. It's completely different from all the other Fire Emblem games, but I had fun with it. It's a nice game. And now for our final game. The end of our tier list journey wraps up with Fire Emblem Engage. And honestly, with Engage, if you caught me when I beat this game, because I'm gonna be honest, this was my second Fire Emblem game, because after Three Houses, Engage basically just barely got announced. But I would have probably put it maybe at the top of mid at first. But after replaying doing a maddening playthrough very recently with this game, I'm gonna put it in between Blazing Blade and Sacred Stones. Yeah, man, Engage is, I think this game, gameplay-wise, is easily like a top 3 in my book. I'll say top 5 because I feel like I've used top 3 way too much. Gameplay is really good in this game. There's a lot of player agency in the unit customization in Engage. The emblem rings are a prime example. I mean, putting the Sigurd ring on like Louis and turning him into a literal wrecking ball. He just nukes everyone in a straight line and then he takes no damage unless it's a mage. The emblem rings were such a great addition. While they weren't a great addition in Heroes, which I'll talk about in my review there, they were a phenomenal addition to Engage, man. Like, this was a very good addition to Engage. The skills that they come with, I mean, Kanto was the most busted skill in the entire game. Man, the amount of customization you had for your units was really, like, it was top notch. I think it's probably some of the best customization we've had since, honestly, Awakening. And honestly, this game, I kind of like nicknamed it Awakening 2.0. It's just a lot of fan service. It's a lot of fan service with like the emblem rings and I forgot what the name of the smaller rings were you could get. Like, there was kind of a Heroes type gotcha in this game. I mean, there was a Heroes, like if you get the DLC, Veronica shows up in the DLC and you can actually summon Heroes, which is actually pretty cool. But onwards with Engage, more onto it. Gameplay, amazing. The customization, agency, and some of the maps actually. The maps in this game aren't complete slouches. The maps in this game are, I think, pretty good. The animations also are very good in this game. There's a video you can look up where someone shows the animations as like, I think your characters level up, and the animations are very similar, if not a fantastic nod to the GBA era. The animations are great in this game, dude. And you know what, honestly, I'm gonna put Engage at the top of it. I really have warmed up to this game now that it's been about, I think, 2 years, man. The animations, the gameplay, the maps, the emblem rings, the lighthearted, quirky theme, the cast of characters. Awakening's cast of characters was, I think, probably the most goofy we had next to like Your Fates. They were kind of a goofy bunch who you kind of didn't take too seriously. Engage has the most clown, like circus type characters I've ever seen. You can't take these characters seriously at all. But when you dig deeper into these characters though, and you actually get past the supports, which the supports in this game are also kind of a nod to the GBA games, because holy Christ, it takes forever to get a support. A lot of these characters are characters like Yunaka, characters like Saline, who everyone's like, oh, she's just T-girl, Lapis. When you dig deeper into these characters, especially Ivy and Zelkov he's right next to Finn in like my favorite non-lord character. These characters are actually not bad. I will say though, the thing about Engage that really like saddens me and pisses me off is the fact that people just dunk on this story way too much. And I'm not saying this as a story defender. I'm saying this because the story is, like, let's be real, it's not a good story. Engage's story is pretty, it takes itself too serious way too much, like with Zephy and Gris. They've killed hundreds of people, and all of a sudden you're supposed to feel sympathy for them. Like, get the hell out of here with that. I will say Engage's story deserves all the criticism and all the video essays I've seen, and this game, because of the story, like, people don't look past it other than just it's a bad game with a bad story. Good gameplay, but they say the story is akin to Fates. The story's not that bad. It's generic, and I do agree it could have been better, but we need to stop hating on Engage just for that alone. There are a lot of cringe moments in this game, I will say. The opening when you first boot up the game is a 4Kids Saturday morning opening. The world in this game, the amount of times the characters say, oh, we're at war, and like they tell you that the whole world is at war and things are tragic and stuff. Like, bro, the world building in this game is terrible. Like, I think this is like the worst Fire Emblem we've had in terms of world building. The fact that gold is really difficult to get and skirmishes are very punishing. Like, it's really hard to get gold in this game unless you turn Anna into an absolute gold goblin, which is what she is. But unless you turn Anna into like a very OP gold goblin with like high luck, you're not going to get any gold in this game. Gold is really hard to get to in this game. The Somnial, while it's better than the Monastery, just the whole Monastery Somnial thing, like it just does not work. Like, I'm tired of hub worlds in games, honestly, man. I'm just tired of it. And also the last thing, why isn't there a new game plus with this game? This game deserved a new game plus. If there was any game in the series that needed it, this was it. I like Engage. I think this was a very fun game, and I actually feel fine putting it at the top of very good. This game does a lot of things right in gameplay. It's just hard to get into like an actual discussion about this game because everyone just crucifies it for its story. And guys, I get it. The story's not good, but come on. Like, the game itself, the complete package that's in this game is more than worth like your time. I've spent like hundreds of hours in this game already, and I can tell you it is a blast to play, and the difficulty is just... I forgot to mention, the difficulty in this game is perfect. This is the best Fire Emblem game, difficulty-wise, all around. That's my thoughts on Engage. These are my thoughts on all the Fire Emblem games in the franchise. Hopefully I'll get to some of these earlier games, the first Shadow Dragon, Gaiden, and Mystery, as well as get to Warriors. Stay tuned for the Heroes video. That should come very soon. But is there anything I'd adjust on this list? I think this list is just about right. I think this is how I feel about all the Fire Emblem games. I don't feel Awakening... I mean, I kind of want to put Awakening over Echoes because, you know, I talk about the complete package, but I really like Echoes. Like, I really, really like it, but Awakening just... I mean, Awakening's age too, so yeah. You know what? Yeah, I think this list is fine. To any and all who watch this video, give me your thoughts in the comments below. Tell me what you think, and yeah, stay tuned for more content regarding Fire Emblem and Fae. I thank you guys for spending this hour with me, and yeah, I'll see you guys later. Have a great day, and peace.